Sean Cameron, and I work with youth. I work with ex-offenders and guys that are inside as a mentor. I also work in the community. I work at Chobani's. Thank you.
Yeah. So as you and I, 32 years behind bars, that's a lot of evolution you get to see, a lot of learning. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to ask you some questions about your experience inside.
I grew up in a really bad environment. My dad was next level alcoholic, and so I was pretty much the punching bag for a good portion of my childhood. So I saw the world through that lens. You know, those are the things that really create that sort of temporary escape. And at the time, I couldn't articulate what that's about other than, that's cool. I'm not feeling like what my dad calls me every single day.
Another question, comment, but what can we do to help kids when we're...
Especially with alcoholism and drugs and stuff, finding them mental health stability. When you see it, don't ignore this. And I start to, see guys, smoking a joint. I'm like, yeah, let's check that out. So the best scenario I can offer you is simply this. Whatever it is that you're doing today that is walking you tiptoeing towards that particular decision that earns you that prison ID, you might want to find somebody that's going to help you be motivated to do something different, because I promise you there's better. Everybody's time is valuable, so obviously I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out here, and especially in this heat, and obviously pay it forward on the things that you do. You guys are doing awesome. If you're struggling, reach out.
My name's Sean. Today I'm going to ask you to use your imagination. And can you imagine walking into your foster family for the first time thinking, a fresh start? And the first thing you find out is that your foster mom gets high and your dad is an alcoholic. Well, heck, we know this, don't we? Can you imagine that the only thing that pursues that is every single day you're chasing it, that numbness, because you have your own demons to quiet. And so the road to crime just continues. Can you imagine sitting in front of the judge as that gavel hits hard, echoing 25 to life? Can you imagine sitting in your cell, 19 years old, and the echoes of those cold concrete walls of all that fear and anger and resentment and sadness echo from the fathers, brothers, uncles, grandpas prior, and now you get to lend to those. Can you imagine somebody coming up to you and saying, hey, your story's powerful. Would you mind working with at-risk youth? And you say to yourself, well, we can continue to get high in prison and basically die there, or you can start to work with others, share your story, and maybe make a change. Well, you know what? I think we'll go this way. But first you need to work on you, because you're a train wreck. And you can imagine all the demons and all the monsters that reside within, because that didn't go away. Until one day, 32 and a half years later, you are introduced to that gate and you're introduced to freedom. You walk out into a world you no longer know. You walk out to a freedom that you embrace for the first time, because even though as a youngster you were free, you weren't really free. You were in a cage. And even though you had the key, you didn't know how to use it. So yes, you embrace freedom like you've never done anything before. And you say to yourself, we are going to do this. All the stuff that you've practiced, you're going to put into action. And you're going to work with the community. You're going to add value to the youngsters' lives. You're going to do what you have to do in order to make change, because everything seems like it's in a train wreck. Or you can get high and go back to prison and die.
And those are legitimate interviews. I see those guys really, kind of the light bulb goes on and they're like, oh, this is actually something that I can do. I can interview well. I just got to learn the language. And so there were the guys that wanted to play victim, but not for long. And there was the guys that I was around that wouldn't allow it either. And staff too. staff was very much involved in trying to help these guys really plug in on the fact that, yeah, it sucks and I get it, but no, that's yours, bud. We all have receipts in our back pocket. I said, because then, we have our little IDs, and I said, I earned this ID that says Sean Cameron 29608. I said, I worked my ass off for that thing. And everything that I did in the past shows that. I can say what I want. I can make my mouth say anything. Behavior doesn't lie. And so when you explain to them that, yeah, you might have had a couple of bad breaks, I know all about that. Our decisions were ours, and the responsibility is the only thing that we can acknowledge to move forward, so that we're not living in the past and we're not letting that past dictate to us. And so they would accept that simply because we are of the same tribe. And if I tell them something, they know that it's only to get them home to their families. It was pretty surreal the day I got out. I got my sister there, I got my girlfriend there, and I got friends and family. I just went from a world of black and white to a world of color. And instead of hitting play, now I'm interacting. Instead of looking at things from a 2D, now it's 3D. And that was the other thing, is that I walked up to a tree, put my hand on the tree, and just lost my shit because I hadn't had it touch a tree in how long? Because prisons don't have trees. That's a big deal. And so that my experience was understanding that my life is going to serve a different kind of purpose. And the traction that I'm going to use from everything that I did is going to be of adding value to the community and to my own life and to discovery and to understanding that that's what this is about.